10 California cities are quietly experiencing the early stages of a housing market collapse that could devastate property values by 30% or more. While the mainstream media focuses on statewide averages, the data shows a systematic breakdown happening in specific markets where inventory is exploding and prices are already dropping month over month. Folks, we've been analyzing California real estate for over 2 decades, and what we're witnessing right now in these 10 cities is eerily similar to the warning signs we saw in 2006 and 7. The difference is, this time the collapse is happening in slow motion, giving smart investors and homeowners a chance to get out before the devastation really hits. The data coming out of California is painting 2 completely different pictures. The statewide numbers still look relatively stable, with the California Association of Realtors projecting a 4.6% increase in median home prices to $909,400 for 2025. But when you dig deeper into specific markets, you'll find a completely different story. One of surging inventory, plummeting sales, and the beginning stages of a price collapse that could reshape California real estate for the next decade. Let me walk you through 10 California cities where home price devastation is not just possible, it's already beginning. And if you own property in any of these markets, you need to understand what's happening before it's too late. The first city that should terrify any California property owner is Stockton, and the numbers are absolutely devastating. Home prices in Stockton have already fallen 5.3% to a median of $420,000, with listings up 70% year over year. But here's what makes this even more alarming. The average days on market has reached 75 days, meaning properties that used to sell in weeks are now sitting for over 2 months. What's really concerning about Stockton is the foreclosure situation. According to the latest data, foreclosures in Stockton have tripled since 2022. We're not at 2008 crisis levels yet, but the trajectory is unmistakable. Short sale inquiries are rising, and many homeowners who bought at the peak are finding themselves underwater. We've been tracking individual properties in Stockton, and what we're seeing is sellers making multiple price cuts just to attract buyers. Properties that were listed at $450,000 6 months ago are now asking $380,000 and still not getting offers. The flippers who were making easy money during the pandemic boom are now losing their shirts. The second city showing clear signs of price devastation is Bakersfield, which has earned the dubious distinction of having one of the highest foreclosure rates in America. According to ATTOM data, Bakersfield had 1 foreclosure filing for every 1,990 housing units in May 2025, ranking it among the worst in the nation for cities with populations over 500,000. Bakersfield's problem is that it was never a fundamentally strong market to begin with. The city's economy is heavily dependent on oil and agriculture, both sectors that are facing long-term headwinds. When the pandemic boom artificially inflated prices, it created a bubble that was always going to burst. What's particularly troubling about Bakersfield is the speed at which conditions are deteriorating. Properties that were selling for $350,000 in 2022 are now struggling to find buyers at $280,000. The inventory buildup is creating a glut that's putting massive downward pressure on prices. The third city experiencing the beginning stages of a housing collapse is Riverside, which recorded 1 foreclosure filing for every 721 housing units in May 2025, one of the highest rates in California. Riverside represents the broader challenges facing California's Inland Empire, where affordability was supposed to be the saving grace but is now becoming a liability. Riverside's challenge is that it attracted buyers who were priced out of coastal markets, but many of these buyers stretched their finances to the breaking point. Now, with mortgage rates above 6.5% and economic uncertainty growing, these highly leveraged homeowners are starting to default. The ripple effects in Riverside are becoming visible everywhere. New construction has slowed dramatically, retail spaces are sitting vacant longer, and the economic ecosystem that supported the housing boom is starting to unravel. Moving to Southern California, the fourth city showing signs of impending price devastation is areas within Los Angeles County, where inventory has surged significantly year over year. This isn't just a modest increase, this is a flood of properties hitting the market just as buyer demand has evaporated. What makes Los Angeles County particularly vulnerable is the combination of high prices and deteriorating fundamentals. The median home price is still over $800,000, but the jobs that supported those prices, entertainment, tech, finance, are all facing significant headwinds. Major studios are cutting costs, tech companies are laying off workers, and the high-paying jobs that justified million-dollar home prices are disappearing. The month-over-month price declines that started in early 2025 are accelerating. Properties in neighborhoods like Palmdale and Lancaster that were selling for $600,000 are now struggling to find buyers at $520,000. The correction is just beginning. The fifth city that should concern every California investor is areas within Orange County, where inventory has exploded from 2,594 active listings at the start of the year to 5,121 listings, nearly doubling the available supply. Orange County was supposed to be the stable, affluent market that would weather any downturn, but even the wealthy are starting to feel the pressure. Orange County's problem is that much of its wealth was tied to real estate appreciation and stock market gains. With both of those wealth sources under pressure, the high-end buyers who drove the market are pulling back. Properties that had bidding wars in 2021 are now sitting on the market for months with multiple price reductions. What's particularly concerning is that Orange County has always been considered a premium market. So if it's showing this level of distress, it suggests the problems are deeper and more widespread than most people realize. Please take 2 seconds to help me out and hit the like and subscribe if you find this video interesting so far. Each like, subscribe, and share helps support this channel and keeps us motivated to keep making you great content. Thank you. Now, let's continue. The sixth city experiencing early signs of collapse is areas within San Diego County, where inventory has surged significantly year over year. San Diego's challenge is similar to other coastal markets. Prices rose so high during the pandemic that they're now completely disconnected from local incomes and economic fundamentals. San Diego's median home price is still over $900,000, but the military families and biotech workers who traditionally supported the market are being priced out. The result is a market where sellers are chasing prices down, cutting asking prices multiple times just to generate interest. The seventh city showing warning signs is Modesto, which is following the same pattern as other Central Valley markets. Modesto's problem is that it lacks the economic diversity to support the price levels reached during the pandemic boom. The city's economy is heavily dependent on agriculture and logistics, both sectors that are facing significant challenges. Properties in Modesto that were selling for $450,000 in 2022 are now listed at $380,000 and still not moving. The inventory buildup is creating a buyer's market, but buyers are scarce because the economic fundamentals don't support current price levels. The eighth city that should concern investors is Fresno, another Central Valley market where the affordability advantage is eroding rapidly. Fresno attracted buyers who were priced out of coastal markets, but many of these buyers are now finding themselves in financial distress as economic conditions deteriorate. Fresno's challenge is that it never had the high-paying jobs to support the price levels reached during the pandemic. Now that the artificial demand from coastal refugees has dried up, the market is correcting back to levels that local incomes can actually support. The ninth city showing signs of impending price devastation is Vallejo, which represents the broader challenges facing secondary Bay Area markets. Vallejo was supposed to be the affordable alternative to San Francisco and Oakland, but even these affordable markets are now showing stress. Vallejo's problem is that it attracted buyers who were stretching their finances to get into the Bay Area market. Now, with tech layoffs accelerating and economic uncertainty growing, these highly leveraged buyers are starting to default. The inventory buildup is creating downward pressure on prices that's accelerating every month. The 10th and final city that exemplifies California's housing challenges is Antioch, another Bay Area suburb where the combination of high prices and deteriorating fundamentals is creating a perfect storm. Antioch's median home price is still over $600,000, but the economic justification for those prices is disappearing. Antioch's challenge is that it's far enough from major job centers that commuting costs are becoming prohibitive, especially with gas prices and bridge tolls continuing to rise. The value proposition that made these distant suburbs attractive during the pandemic is no longer compelling. Now here's what all of this means for you as homeowners or investors. These 10 cities represent millions of California residents and hundreds of billions of dollars in real estate value. When markets this large start showing systematic distress, it's a warning sign for the entire state. The data is clear. California recorded 14,751 foreclosure starts in the first half of 2025, among the highest in the nation. Statewide inventory has increased to 3.8 months of supply, up from 2.6 months the prior year. While the statewide median is projected to increase, specific distressed markets are showing significant declines and inventory buildups that signal deeper problems ahead. These aren't just statistics. They represent real families losing their homes, real investors losing their life savings, and real communities watching their property values evaporate. The price devastation that's beginning in these 10 cities could spread to other California markets if the underlying economic conditions continue to deteriorate. For those of you thinking about buying in California, patience is your friend. While the statewide market may show modest gains, these distressed markets are clearly shifting in favor of buyers. Don't rush into a purchase in these vulnerable areas thinking you need to buy before prices go up. The trend is clearly downward in these distressed markets, and there will be better opportunities ahead. For current California homeowners in these specific markets, especially those who bought in 2021 and 22, the window for selling without taking a major loss is rapidly closing. Every month you wait, you're competing with more inventory and more desperate sellers. The smart money is already recognizing this shift and positioning accordingly. For investors, these California markets require extreme caution right now. While the statewide fundamentals may support modest price growth, the fundamentals in these distressed cities have deteriorated significantly. Cash flow is nearly impossible to achieve, and appreciation is no longer a given. Focus on markets with strong job growth and economic diversity, and make sure your numbers work at current rates and prices. The most important thing to understand is that this price devastation isn't happening in a vacuum. These same forces, rising mortgage rates, affordability crises, inventory buildups, and economic uncertainty, are at work in markets across America. These California cities are just leading the way down because they had the furthest to fall. If you found this video interesting, please subscribe, share, and watch this one as well.